Before you step into a new week, I want you to consider this. How do you want that week to unfold? Most people don't think about it. They just let the week come at them. They wake up Monday morning and whatever happens, happens. No plan, no preparation, no strategy. And then they wonder why things don't go their way. So here's the key. Don't let the week control you. You control the week. Now ask yourself, have you ever noticed how different you feel when you're prepared? When you've taken a little time to think things through before jumping into them, isn't it amazing how much smoother things go when you know what you want and how you're going to get it? That's what we're talking about today. Setting the stage for success before the week even begins. You see, success doesn't happen by accident. It's something you design. It's something you plan. And the best way to start is by setting aside some time. Because if you can take a little bit of time to think through what you want to achieve, it's going to make all the difference in how you feel and how you perform throughout the week. Now, the first thing I want you to do before you start your week is get clear. Clarity is power. A lot of people go into the week with vague goals. No real sense of what's important or what they need to focus on. And what happens? They get lost in the weeds. They spend time on things that don't really matter, and the important stuff gets pushed aside. So I'm telling you right now, you've got to take a moment and get clear. Ask yourself, what are the most important things I need to get done this week? What are the key tasks that, if accomplished, will move me closer to my goals? It doesn't have to be a long list. In fact, I recommend keeping it short. Focus on just a few things that are going to make a real difference. That's where your energy needs to go. Not scattered across 100 little things, but laser focused on the handful of tasks that matter. Here's what I learned a long time ago. It's the 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of it. It's the idea that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Think about that. A small percentage of the things you do are going to give you the majority of your results. But the problem is, most people spend their time on the 80% of things that only produce 20% of the results. They're busy, but they're not productive. Do you see the difference? That's why it's so important to get clear on what really matters. What are those high-value activities that are going to give you the biggest return? That's where you want to spend your time. And here's something else to keep in mind. You don't have unlimited energy. You've got to be smart about where you focus that energy. If you waste it on things that don't really matter, you're not going to have much left for the things that do. So, after you've gotten clear on your priorities, the next step is to get organized. You know, one of the most frustrating things in life is feeling overwhelmed. Feeling like there's too much to do and not enough time to do it. And the reason most people feel this way is because they don't take the time to get organized. They let tasks pile up. They lose track of what needs to be done. And before they know it, they're buried under a mountain of unfinished work. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. If you can take just a little time before the week begins and organize your tasks to break them down into manageable steps, you're going to feel a whole lot better. You'll have a clear path to follow, and that sense of overwhelm will start to disappear. Now, when I say get organized, I'm not talking about making some fancy color-coded schedule or spending hours sorting through paperwork. I'm talking about something simple. Grab a piece of paper and make a list. Write down the tasks that need to be done and then prioritize them. What needs to be done first? What can wait? What's urgent? What's important? Most of us spend our time on urgent things that demand our immediate attention. But often, those aren't the things that really matter in the long run. The important things, the things that will move the needle on your goals, tend to get pushed aside because they're not screaming for your attention. So, you got to make time for those important tasks. You got to schedule them in. Otherwise, they'll never get done. Schedule your time. If you don't schedule your time, someone else will. If you don't tell your day where to go, it'll go wherever it pleases. And I'm telling you, that's not the way to live. I once heard someone say, "Show me your calendar, and I'll show you your priorities." Isn't that interesting? If you want to know what someone really values, just look at how they spend their time. So, here's what I want you to do. Before the week begins, sit down and schedule your most important tasks. Block out time for them. And when I say block out time, I mean actually write it down. Put it on your calendar. Treat it like an appointment with yourself. Because if you don't, it won't happen. Life will get in the way. You'll get distracted. You'll get pulled into other people's agendas. And before you know it, the week will be over. And you'll be wondering where all the time went. Don't just schedule your work. Schedule time for yourself too. Schedule time for your health, for your relationships, for your personal growth. Because I'm telling you, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be much good to anyone else. You've got to make sure you're staying healthy. Physically, mentally, emotionally. That means setting aside time to exercise, to relax, to read, to connect with the people who matter most to you. And here's another thing. When you're scheduling your week, make sure you leave some margin. What do I mean by margin? I mean time that's unaccounted for, time that's flexible. Because let's face it, things don't always go according to plan. There are going to be interruptions. There are going to be unexpected challenges. And if your schedule is packed from morning to night with no room for flexibility, what happens when something unexpected comes up? You get stressed. You get frustrated. You feel like everything's falling apart. But if you leave some margin, if you build in some flexibility, you'll be able to handle those unexpected challenges with grace. You'll be able to adjust without feeling like your whole week is derailed. So don't be afraid to leave a little breathing room in your schedule. It's going to make a big difference. Now, after you've gotten clear on your priorities, organized your tasks, and scheduled your time, there's one more thing you need to do before you begin your week. You need to get your mindset right. I'm telling you, your attitude is going to determine how your week goes. If you go into the week with a negative mindset, thinking about all the problems, all the things that could go wrong, guess what? You're going to find those problems. You're going to attract those challenges. But if you go into the week with a positive mindset, expecting things to go well, looking for opportunities instead of obstacles, you're going to have a much better experience. I'm not talking about blind optimism here. I'm not saying you should ignore reality or pretend that challenges don't exist. What I'm saying is you've got to train yourself to focus on the good. You've got to train yourself to see the possibilities, because what you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you're going to get more problems. If you focus on solutions, you're going to find solutions. One of the best ways to get your mindset right is to start the week with gratitude. Take a moment before the week begins to reflect on the things you're grateful for. Write them down if you can, because gratitude is a powerful thing. When you're in a state of gratitude, it's hard to feel stressed. It's hard to feel overwhelmed. Gratitude puts things in perspective. It reminds you that no matter what challenges you face, there's always something to be thankful for. And I'm telling you, when you start the week with that sense of gratitude, with a positive mindset, you're going to approach everything differently. You're going to be more resourceful, more resilient, more creative. You're going to be better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Before you begin your week, here's what you need to do. First, get clear on your priorities. Identify the key tasks that are going to move you forward. Second, get organized. Break those tasks down into manageable steps and prioritize them. Third, schedule your time. Block out time for your most important tasks, and don't forget to schedule time for yourself. Fourth, leave some margin. Build flexibility into your schedule so you can handle the unexpected. And finally, get your mindset right. Start the week with gratitude and a positive attitude, and watch how things start to change. I'm telling you, if you do this, if you take the time to prepare before the week begins, you're going to feel more in control, more focused, and more productive. You're going to be able to handle challenges with confidence, and you're going to make real progress on your goals. And isn't that what we all want? Progress. Success isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about making progress step by step, week by week. So take the time to prepare and watch how your life begins to change.